here for Austin.
You're here for Austin?
I'm here for Austin. I'm going to address him here on the show. I'm going to issue an apology, and then I'm going to punch him in the dickhead right afterwards. So here at the top of the show, to Austin. Now, I could very well just reach out to him personally, directly, but I want to do it here on this public platform. That's where I decide that I'm going to do this, because that's who I am. I'm not a person of privacy. I'm a person of publicity, if that even makes a sense. So Austin sends me a direct message about my contract negotiations, which clearly, since I'm here, are not going in my favor. There was some small print that Jake put in there with his little pinky toe that I wasn't aware of. I don't read very well. You know what I'm saying? So Austin sends me a direct message, not a typed out message, Jake, with fonts and stuff. No, an audio recorded message, because he wanted me to hear the passion, inflection, and angst in his voice to his message to me. Now, I won't relay what the message was word for word, but what I will say is that I am here for Austin. I am here because I do not want to break this sexy, revering young man's heart that one day when the pandemic is over, the only thing I look forward to is making out with him with lots of tongue. So that's why I'm here.
Okay.
Now, my personal feelings on me being here are different, but I'm here because I do not want to squash the dreams of one little, adorable, sexy, smooth-skinned white boy named Austin.
Yeah. Feelings mutual?
No, it's not, Jake. No, it's not. If it wasn't for Austin, you don't understand, Jake. You don't understand, man.
I guess not. I mean, last week we were meant to do a show, and you're just like, oh, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Oh, yeah, I had shit to do.
I, show up to do the show, and you're not here.
You were probably still late, I would imagine.
No!
Guaranteed mortal lock you were.
2 hours early.
2 hours late. There's no way you were 2 hours early unless you didn't have to work last Saturday. And you have to work every Saturday. Bullshit meter at a 9.
I don't know how you're turning this around on me. You're the one who no-showed, you know?
No, there's no such thing as no-call, no-show. You no-call, no-show 53,000 times.
What are you talking about? We've
don't
done
have
this
me
show
call out
consistently for a year.
Don't make me call out your rap sheet, Mr. Late Cancel Show in Tempe. Me sitting around with my finger up my ass for 5, 10, 15, 20, sometimes an hour. And I will give you one reprieve on that one day that both you and I completely forgot about the show. But nevertheless, I'm here for a little boy named Austin.
Listen, the one in Tempe, though, was like, hey, I'm running a little late. And you're like, well, I gotta do another thing. And I'm like, okay, well,
do you think all I do is sit around and wait for Jake? Clearly, that's what you have in your mind, that I have nothing else going on in my vapid life, that all I can do is sit around and wait for Jake.
I guess. I don't know. Like, shit.
I don't sit around and wait for Jake. I will sit around and wait for a little boy named Austin.
I know.
Are you mad because I'm giving Austin more love than I'm normally giving you?
No, I'm not mad. I love Austin, man. Austin.
Well, you've rejected my love so much. Austin seems to be the only one that's receptive to the chocolate-covered man-boob jiggling love that I have to offer him.
Okay. I mean, shit, man. I love Austin, too. I would.
You are bitter in your tone. You are bitter in your tone. Oh, I've caused a rift amongst the Jake and the Austin.
I haven't. No rift between us. We're good.
No rift. Hey, when someone loves me hard, I have to love them back harder.
Yeah.
You know? And then what we'll eventually get to with Austin and I as we continue to forage and manifest this beautiful bouquet of man love. What we're going to get to is that both of our loves, we're going to be loving each other so hard that at the end of it, we're just going to be two shattered rocks of nothing but pure, unadulterated man love.
You're going to create the Cory and Austin show?
I'm not going to do a show. See, I'm not going to go that far. I have hard time trying to do this damn show.
That's true.
Get me out of this. 5, 6, 7, 8.
I don't even know what's happening. I don't even know where I am. What is up, boyos? This is the Jake and Cory podcast. I'm Jake. That's Cory. What is up, Cory?
What is up, Jake?
A lot is up. There's been a lot that has happened over the course of 2 weeks. For one, I missed your face. I wanted to look at your face lovingly.
You do realize I'm all over the internet.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that just to you, Jake. I say that to everyone that ever says I miss you or I can't get in contact with you. Those are both bullshit lies, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm all over the internet. Nothing about me is private anymore. People can find me and get to me at any given time. I have weird people walking up and knocking on my door all the time. And then after I tell them that I wish that they would perform sexual favors, they leave. But I'm available.
It's always sexual favors with you.
That's it. It's like currency in the world of Cory.
Yeah. I want you, just to bring it back to the intro of the show, I want you to be here for you, I don't want you to be here for me. I don't want you to be here for Austin. Yeah, I especially don't want you to be here for Nick. I want you to be here for you, Cory. I want you to sit in it. I want you to sit down and be like, oh man, I am so grateful to just discuss the world events around me.
Well, number one, Jake, you said you want me to just sit in it. Number one, I'm too big to sit in this. Lonercast is not designed for people with my size ass. It's a very small cast of loners. It's a very small cast of loners.
That is the idea. Yeah.
Secondly, Jake, I'm a people pleaser. Therefore, I'm here to please the people, and the people is a little bald-headed boy named Austin. I don't know if he's bald-headed, but it just made people that are listening to this more sympathetic to this little kid that everybody's now probably thinking it's some cancer kid. So I apologize for that.
I think Austin would rock the bald-headed look, I think.
I don't know. I couldn't pick Austin's penis out of a lineup. I don't know what's happening.
So what you been up to the past couple weeks there, Cory?
Well, I have I've been working my ass off. I have not slept very much. It is the first of the year, and this is the time of year where finances from 2020 are fully calculated and rolled up, and income sheets are being tabulated and calculated over and over and over. Taxes are prepared and being filed, and I am realizing how much 2020 was a shit show financially for me and my business endeavors. So for the last few weeks, Jake, I've been borderline tired and suicidal. But thank you for asking. Thumbs up.
Jesus Christ.
It's a hard time, man. This is every beginning of the year. It's stressful for me. All of the Fat Guy Radio Show shit, all of the renewals and bullshit that we have to go through with that, and I mean we're having to trim some fat. And for a show that's named Fat Guy Radio Show, trimming some fat is pretty much taking a whole lot off of the precipice of the show.
That's cutting the whole motto out, really.
But no matter what's on my plate right now and what I have to deal with, it doesn't compare to the next level stupidity that we have all seen in the last 48 hours from 3 governors in 3 different states lifting COVID restrictions. I was waiting for this to happen. I had my money on one of the southern states to do it first, but I'll go ahead and take the lose to Texas, the biggest fucking state with the highest number of COVID cases right now, being the first to lift all restrictions, every restriction. Then I believe it was Mississippi that did it the same day or the next day or within hours of Texas. And then I sat back and I said to myself, as I sat in my loneliness with my 1 scoop of non-fat ice cream in a bowl that I ate with my finger, I said to myself, myself said, count the days before our dickless governor does the exact same thing. So I will give him a little bit of foreskin back because he didn't lift all of the restrictions, but he is allowing people to go back, restaurants to go back to 100% capacity, and other things to go back to 100% capacity. He's still limiting sporting events, which is where the most bulk of people can congregate in this state. We have stadiums that range anywhere from 18,000 all the way up to, I don't know what State Farm is. I think State Farm is like in the 60s or 70s. I don't know how many tens of thousands of people are in there, but he lifted the restrictions. We're still in the red. Yes, the numbers are trending where they're supposed to go, but it's a little too soon. It's a little too early. It's not surprising, but this is where this is the conclusion that I've come to, Jake. The whole entire pandemic, whether the orange man was in office or not, the whole entire pandemic has proven one fucking thing. They need to change the preamble of the Declaration of Independence from "we the people" to "we the prophet." Every move that we have made, our government elected officials have made during this pandemic, has proven that they honestly do not have 100% focus on the welfare of the people in this country. It's a very small margin of people that have the dollars, that have the influence, and that have the pressure to move these politicians to do things that will affect and have an adverse effect to the majority of individuals in this country. This proves one thing, man. They're all about profit. Governor Ducey, if you dug deep enough, you will most likely find that there are some people that are power hitters financially within the education system in this state. By reopening these schools, that's money that's going to start moving again. Those power hitters are also working along with supporting Doug Ducey. So of course he had interest in opening up the schools. Of course he had interest in opening up these restaurants, because the power hitters, the big investors behind these restaurants that have been sitting dormant for almost a year, are not making any money for the investors. The investors are not making any money to put into Doug Ducey's campaign or Doug Ducey's office. It's all been about profit. It's all been about money. And them opening up this state, lifting restrictions without there being any scientific proof and going against everything the CDC is saying to do, just proves that it's all about money. I understand that kids are struggling with at-home learning. I understand that teachers are struggling with at-home learning. I understand that. But imagine how much longer potentially we could be stretching this motherfucking pandemic out because these assholes can't sacrifice just a little bit more time. It's like it's the equivalent of a runner at the finish line of a marathon, and then taking a nosedive and coming within inches from finishing. We're right there, man. We're right fucking there. And now is not the time to make stupid, fucked up, backwards ass decisions that are going to move that finish line even further away. But when it comes down to profit, they believe that the profit fills in that gap of that margin and puts us closer to the finish. It doesn't. I don't want a fourth wave. I'm sick of this shit. I want my life back. I want to be able to go back into my studio and do these shows. I want to be able to go back and open up my studio to more shows that want to record in my studio. I want to be able to do that shit. But I can't do that while these fuckwads keep pushing the finish line further away. Because their fucking pockets are starting to feel a little lighter. Can't wait for this motherfucker to be gone. It's not going to change anything because the deep people that are the one percenters, if you will, quote unquote, they make decisions and they have influence that affects 99% of us. So we're just going to wait for the next ass scratching, monkey licking motherfucker to be in office. It's going to fuck us over again. It's ridiculous. It's not power to the people anymore. It's power to the profit. The profits that these motherfuckers can make off of the backs of us that are dying in the motherfucking street. I bet you before we hit that finish line, Jake, Arizona will hit that 1 millionth death. We will have more than 1 million people that will die in this state. And then on top of that, this motherfucker, Doug the douchey, he didn't even fucking be a man about it and sack up and stand up. At least the Texas governor stood up and took his lumps from reporters. This motherfucker pulled an orange face and tweeted the shit. And I thought to myself, if something goes wrong, what's to stop him from coming out and saying, oh, my Twitter was hacked. I never tweeted that. The restrictions are still in place.
Right. Yeah, it's
bullshit.
I'm not totally convinced that we ever really locked down.
That's a valid argument as well.
Because I don't know, there's been a couple times where I've like gone to a pizza place, like, you know, a pizza place that's always like popping, just to pick up the pizza, and they like bring it out to my car or whatever. And while I drive up to this place,
it's stacked.
It's packed in there. Everyone's sitting at the bars. You know, no one's wearing masks because, you know, when you go inside and you sit down at a table, you're safe.
You're eating.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not convinced that this even really makes that much of a difference. We're not going to hit 1 million deaths in Arizona, considering we're only at like, what, 16,000. But
we're not at 16,000 deaths. No, I'm sorry. I misspoke. Not 1 million deaths. I mean 1 million cases. I apologize. I misspoke. 1 million cases. We're like at we're over 800,000, right? 800,000 cases.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, true.
16,000
deaths, though, is nothing to scoff at.
No, it's not. And over 500,000 deaths nationwide. And look, I hope I'm
2 million
fucking wrong. If I'm wrong, I will go on my Twitter or if you're in GTA 5, my Twatter, and I will tweet to the governor my apologies if I'm wrong.
No. Because here's the thing. It's better to be safe and wrong than to be careless and wrong.
Yeah.
Safe, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get you. I totally get what you mean.
Because, like, if he opens everything up and the trajectory continues to go down, it's like, well, great. That's great. But, like, imagine if we just remained locked down. Well, that would have steepened it even more. Because the numbers are going down. They are. But we're starting to see
I'm sorry.
Starting to see a little bit. We're starting to see a little bit of a plateau now, and it's because of stupid shit like this, where they're like, open up the restaurants. Texas was like, fuck it, just open everything. Everything's back to normal.
They lifted every motherfucking restriction. Here's the thing: what I don't think Ducey is realizing, and I'm really shocked at Dr. Kara Christ. I'm really, really shocked at her. I've had the opportunity to meet her several times. And she's a very intelligent individual. And I hate to say anything bad about her, but I am shocked that she is not looking at her metrics of cases versus vaccinations. That number of cases versus the vaccination needs to be a little bit more. Herd immunity is categorized as 70% of the population being vaccinated. We're nowhere near that 70% yet. We're not even at 50% of the population of the state of Arizona being vaccinated. We just got the baby powder vaccine that just came out, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine that just came out. We're right there. We couldn't sit on this, dude, for just a month. Another month or two is not going to do any more damage to these restaurants. The damage has been done. What would cost us for a couple of more months? The unemployment rate is still what it is. We could have given it a couple of more months, man, until that Johnson & Johnson vaccine was out. It's a one-shot hitter. Get that shit stuck in there. Keep opening up these vaccination locations, getting it up. And I mean, if we were at more of, I would say 30 to 40%, I wouldn't probably be so hard on opening up the restaurants and lifting some of these restrictions. But we're not. Our vaccination I think the last time I heard on the news, we were down at 7 to 10% of the population.
Yeah, it's insane. And then we've been having this drama constantly now, basically since Biden took office. And dude, I got a lot to say about this. It finally passed today, the COVID package. They finally passed it after making some, changes to get it passed through the Senate. And oddly enough, it was to appease more conservative Democrats than actually appeasing the Republicans in the House Senate. It's so frustrating, though, because you see I've seen nothing but, Biden hasn't done anything except for bomb Syria, which I'm not going to pretend to know a whole lot about that whole bombing of Syria thing. I'm a little uninformed in that department, so I'm not going to claim to know what really happened there. But it baffles me because it's like, dude, Biden's been in office for like a month. Yeah. Like almost 2 months now.
Some people would classify it as a cup of coffee. He's been in office for a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Like literally, and everyone's like, Biden hasn't done what he said he'd promised, and it's like, dude, give the dude a little bit of time here. Like, from what I've seen, it's like he's trying everything he can to get this fucking stimulus package passed. The other big thing was, and we'll go over the stimulus package in just a second, but like the other big thing is the whole kids in cages thing, which everyone's saying, those kids, they're still in cages. In fact, he put some more kids in those quote-unquote cages. But, like, if you look into it further, it's more of, like, he temporarily set up that location. It's not so much cages. They tried to make them a little bit more, appropriate for the kids there. But, like, the dude just took office, like, 2 months ago. I guarantee he's doing everything in his power to change this. But, like, I also guarantee there's been an influx of people crossing through the border as soon as Biden has taken office because they're like, oh, it's Biden and not Trump. We're probably a little bit more safe. And Biden, and that has been the case. And Biden's like, well, we don't really have anywhere to put these kids. So, like, they're just trying to figure it out. It's like, dude, he just took office 2 months. Give him 6 months before you start like calling him out on all this shit. But
it's amazing how much they are calling out Biden on his shit so fast.
I know.
But it took them months and years to even remotely say anything against the orange man. Anything against the orange one. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's just it's almost like when Obama took office. When you take office as a new president, you're most likely already coming into a grab bag of shit. Give the man some time to sort through his grab bag of shit.
Well,
and because here's the thing, if he goes in and he completely acts too fast, then they'll say that he's too aggressive at some actions. But if he
Right.
goes in and he takes his time, then they're saying he's too melancholy about his actions. What the fuck? There's no win. There
Well,
really
and
isn't any win.
Specifically for like the whole thing with the immigration and the kids, you don't want to do that half-assed. Like, you want to make sure you do that properly, so then everyone is taken care of properly. Like, because you don't want to be. He doesn't want to get in there. I'm assuming you don't want to get in there and you're like, let's do this and this and this and this. Because then, like, what if that plan doesn't work and it fucks up? You know, like, you want to make sure that you do it properly.
They start dying, which is exactly where the cages originally came from. At least the previous administration, when they implemented these cages, they were just throwing them all in there. They weren't feeding them. They were cold. They were dying. Kids were dying. There was no explanation as far as what was happening to those kids, what they were going through, or anything of that nature. At least now we have a little bit more transparency as to what's happening with him, and that he's trying to sort it out. And I'm not just saying that because of it being Biden versus the orange one. I'm saying that because there seems to be a little bit more communication as far as what he's trying to do and what they're trying to figure out, when before it was, this is what's been done, fucking deal with it.
I also think, like, if you're to, like, take office and that's your biggest concern, yeah. But the man's been dealing with the worst mismanagement of COVID that could have ever happened under any presidency. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And he's done a pretty decent job of, like, trying to. We're up to his goal of 2 million vaccinated a day. We are actually meeting his goal of that. And to say he's done nothing in office, you know, I hate Joe Biden too. The dude's a loser and kind of creepy, and he freaks me out. But, like, to just ignore these things is just batshit to me.
He was when, and I'm not saying that this is just Biden. I'm saying that this is any president that has a minuscule amount of adultism. You can sit down at a table and bring two corporate conglomerates together that were active competitors and have been active competitors their entire existence. When you can bring those two together, that there are the signs of someone having it. You know what I mean? Having it all upstairs. I'm not saying this is Biden. I believe that Obama would have been able to do this. I believe Clinton would have been able to do this. Bush would have been able to do it. Both of them would have been able to pull this off because they're not a pouty, childless, blackmailer that we had in office before. So I'm not saying that this is just because it's Biden. I'm saying this because we have more adults sitting at the table now. We don't have an orange crybaby sitting at the table where you can get Merck and Johnson & Johnson to come together. This is something that has happened in history before. And this is something that when this happened, when we were looking at vaccines last year in 2020, we should have been having this conversation with Merck and Johnson & Johnson. And imagine if we had adults at the table that were able to get Merck, Johnson & Johnson, and all of these pharmaceutical companies to work together to produce the vaccine. Imagine how much more vaccine we have. We didn't have any adults at the table at the time. So I'm not saying that the Merck and Johnson & Johnson merger to produce vaccine was on Biden. I'm saying that the Merck and Johnson & Johnson collaboration coming together was done because we have more adults sitting at the table.
Yeah, it's true. We would
have been out of this a long time ago if we had adults. I'm telling you, we would not still be doing this right now if we had more fucking adults at the table and none of these crybaby little dick suckers. You know what I mean? If we had adults at the table, man.
I want to just kind of go down the stimulus package real quickly, because there has been some slight changes since we last looked at it. Stimulus checks are going out, $1,400 per person. Individuals earning less than $75,000 a year, and married couples earning less than $150,000 will receive $1,400 per person.
Well, that knocks you out, Jake. You're out.
Yeah, I wish. That will get money to about 90% of households. They changed that a little bit from when they initially talked about it, where they were going to do it to $100,000 per person. You know, someone making less than $100,000, they moved it to $75,000. I don't think that really makes that much of a difference.
No.
Unemployment assistance. So they'll be providing $300 federal boost for unemployment. And then this has been the one that's been like a real hot ticket item on the package, which is a minimum wage increase. The Senate bill does not include an increase in the federal minimum wage, which House Democrats proposed, raising to $15 an hour. They had been fighting about this pretty much since they proposed the bill. And honestly, I will say, I don't think the stimulus package is the place to introduce that. I think that should be like a separate thing. I don't know what your stance on that is.
I agree with you when it comes to placing that
seems a little slimy to stick it in there.
Yeah,
I agree with
like,
the $15 minimum wage,
pork.
but
well, see, that's where you and I separate. I agree with the $15 federal minimum wage, but then I also disagree with the $15 federal minimum wage because I grew up in a generation where the minimum wage was $5.75. I'm an old motherfucker. Right. And you know what? What I had to do is I had to beat ass, work my fucking ass off to get to the pay that I'm at now. And I think that the $15 minimum wage is going to give a little bit more of a leg up to people that aren't necessarily going to work that hard for it. Now, this is just my take, okay? But the reason why I also agree with it, hear me out. The reason why I also agree with it is because we're also living in a world where there are some people that are very hardworking out there that just can't even fucking afford a 2-bedroom apartment anymore in this state. So doing a minimum wage increase will allow some people that I believe deserve it to have it. So there's always that double-sided coin to it. There are going to be people that are going to abuse it, and there are going to be people that deserve it and need it. And that's the reason why I agree with it and disagree with it.
I personally believe if you're working 40 hours a week, you should be able to afford like a 1-bedroom apartment. Like that is just, I believe that wholeheartedly. If you're working a full-time job, doesn't matter what you're doing, you should be able to fucking afford to live and buy yourself a fucking graham cracker to eat or whatever.
And even at $15 an hour, that's still going to be
I know. And even then
stretch.
That's rough. And but currently it's $7.50. So
but
I mean,
from a business standpoint, Jake, that is going to put an additional strain on some companies.
Sure.
And because when you have to put more out for those employees, you when you're looking at it from a business standpoint, and again, this is why I agree and disagree with it. You're looking at it from a business standpoint, man. If you're paying somebody $15 an hour from a business standpoint, just looking at the numbers, you need to be getting at least $25 to $30 an hour worth of work out of that employee in order for the business to survive. That's how income sheets work. You've got to have more productivity to counterbalance the pay. Anyway, but. You know what I mean? And you're right. But that's the reason why I agree.
I do think there's some gray area there, right? Like we live in Arizona where I think the minimum wage is $12 now or something. So like we're not far off
10, 12
from
bucks.
15 anyway. But like, you know, somewhere like, I don't know, like buttfuck Wyoming is probably still $7.50 or something, right?
Eloy, Arizona.
No, I think all of Arizona is the same. But like, you know, some I don't know what state has that $7.50 minimum wage, but I'm sure the cost of living there is much lower.
Yeah.
And like all of that shit. So I'm not opposed to the idea, and this is how we did it in Arizona as well. To like over time, you boosted a couple dollars like every 2 years or whatever, or every year it boosts $1. That's what we did in Arizona. So that way it can gradually, you can gradually get up there instead of just being like, you're going from $7.50 to $15. That might fuck a lot of companies up in the middle of,
It's going to close. It's going to close some doors. There are going to be companies that aren't going to be able to afford that.
It might.
And then what's going to end up, or there's going to be companies that if they don't end up closing their doors, they're going to end up putting, and then in a business income sheet, you also have an overworked number that you realize. A productivity percentage to pay is, you doubling what you're paying the person in productivity. If you over exceed the amount of productivity to pay, you're in an overage where you're now going to be running through employees and flipping employees. And it's going to end up costing you more money in the long run because you're going to bring these employees in just for easy adding for $15 an hour, but you're going to be giving them responsibilities that are going to total $50 to $60 an hour. Now, yes, in a business, from the surface, you'll look at that and say, hey, the company's going to be making a lot of money. No, what you're going to that's a counter successful approach, because you're going to be burning out employees. You're going to be putting more on them, and you're going to have employees sitting back saying, I'm only getting $15 a fucking hour, but you're sitting here working me like I'm some, $50 an hour employee. So there's going to be companies that are going to go two different directions.
The thing is like that already happens.
It does already happen, and
That
normally in
already
big corporations, it definitely happens. But in small businesses, that's a recipe for disaster, man.
Yeah,
because you can't bounce back from that as a small business.
Yeah, the small business is always the question.
And the small businesses are the backbone behind a lot of the economy, and a lot of people don't like to recognize that.
I mean, it used to be. I don't know how true that is anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, you know what? I hate to agree with you, but yeah, after 2020, you don't know, because we've lost a lot of small businesses.
Yeah, because how much of our taxes come from small companies versus fucking Amazon? Well, I guess Amazon doesn't fucking pay taxes, so I guess none of it.
Yeah, they're making all the profits.
Also, part of the stimulus check here, or the package, is aid to states, $350 billion to states, local governments, territories, and tribes, just for support of the vaccine. And
that's going to be bullshit too, because we've already seen in Arizona that they misappropriated the first bulk of money that came to Arizona. We misused it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Our governor's a fucking shit weasel, so makes sense.
So horrible, man.
Nutrition assistance, the Senate and House plans both extend the 15% increase in food stamp benefits through September. Housing aid.
I agree and disagree with that one too. I
really?
do.
Why?
Because there's people that need it. There are people that need it and deserve it. And then I know for a fact that there are people that are abusing the food stamp system.
All right, let me address that then. Much like how I feel about COVID lockdowns and how we were saying about, opening up too early and us being wrong, and we could have opened up and it would have been fine. I feel the same about this. I'd rather a small amount of people abuse it and everyone who needs it has it than not enough people getting it that need it. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have the few people who will abuse it and don't need it, abuse it and take it, than not have some people have it that actually need it. You know what I mean?
You're right. And I agree with you. And I hope that there are going to be some quality checks that hopefully will keep that balance in order, that the people that are abusing it are lesser than the people that need it. When we get into problems and we get into trouble with these government funded programs is when people that don't need it or people that abuse it are a higher percentage of the people that need it and deserve it.
Yeah, but I really don't think that's going to be ever going to be the case with food stamps.
I don't know.
And I do think that's like a big thing with like people who are against the stimulus checks. Are like, there's going to be so many people who don't deserve it. And it's like, well, I'd rather the people who like don't technically need it get it. Well, and then everyone who needs it gets it too, than us just not giving it at all. You know what I mean? Like,
and if we had a little bit more attention put on the program itself, the program approval process, Maybe if we took some money, I can only speak here in the state of Arizona. Maybe if we took a little bit more money away from building so many fucking jails, and we put it towards the food stamp program or our educational system, which is very interesting that Doug Ducey wants to open back up the schools. And I'm like, why do we want to throw all our schools back, all of our kids back into a broken school system? But that's a whole nother show. But if we advocated a little bit more money to increase the processes or improve the processes of issuing food stamps, then we would see the balance of the abuse drop and the counterbalance of people that need it receive it. Because I understand there are people out here that need it. There are 100% people out here that need it. But right now, as the system sits, Jake, if I wanted to, I could go downtown right now and apply for food stamps, and I have a 95% chance of getting it, knowing damn well that I don't need it. So I think the system in itself, I don't need them. Why would I take that resources away from
and
somebody
I think
else?
I think a lot of people think like you too. And like,
Are
I don't
you
think
sure?
it's as abused.
Trump was president for 4 years. Are you sure people think like I do? No, Jake. No, they don't.
Well, both times he lost in the popular vote. So.
Yeah. That's true.
Housing aid. Both bills would send roughly $20 billion to state and local governments to help low-income households cover back rent.
I like assistance.
That. I don't know how that works, though.
I don't either. Here's the thing, Jake. The whole package, man, it seems like it's just going to be throwing money at these dumb motherfucking governments, these state-run governments, and these are knuckle-dragging, red-ass baboons. There is no way that I hate to say it, but I don't think that money is going to make it to these landlords that have been giving reprieve after reprieve after reprieve and working with these people. I don't think they're going to get it. They're going to, Ducey's going to end up opening another fucking jail.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Optional paid sick leave. Unlike Biden's initial proposal, neither bill would reinstate mandatory paid family and sick leave approved in previous COVID relief packages. But they continue to provide tax credits to employers who voluntarily choose to offer the benefit through October 1st.
Most companies are still going to cover their COVID patients, but there was one story that the news was reporting on about this one woman that says that, a year later she's still dealing with it, and she's, pretty much disabled because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's some of those rare instances that are kind of out there, but
there's that one college basketball lady who was big into college basketball, got COVID, and her lungs just like got all scarred up, and like and it's been months now. I feel like we're gonna hear more and more of those kind of stories, which as
time goes on, because no one knows what the after effects of this disease.
I think it's gonna be like when 9/11 happened, and over time we heard more and more of the like first responders and people who are on the site who are like, I have cancer now, and I think we're gonna hear a lot of that with COVID, where it's like, I had COVID and now I have like really bad asthma and stuff like that. Like, I think
your feet falling off and shit.
Yeah, it's really sad, man. Education and childcare. Again, this is another one where it's like, how does this work? Both Senate and House bills would provide nearly $130 billion to K through 12 schools to help students return to the classrooms. Schools would be allowed to use the money to update their ventilation systems, reduce class sizes to help implement social distancing, buy personal protective equipment, and hire support staff. Both bills would require that schools use at least 20% of the money to address learning loss by providing extended days or summer school, for example. So, good in theory, but schools are known for taking money and just,
building basketball courts and tennis courts and racquetball courts and repaving the fucking teachers' parking lot, or putting more ashtrays in teachers' lounge,
or giving all the money to the admin office,
or if the school ever gets it to begin with. I have many friends and fans of what I do that are educators, and they say we still come out of pocket for crayons and shit. You know what I mean?
What's weird? What's weird and like so fucked up about our school system in America is our schools are funded by local taxes. So wherever you live is how much money your school is getting. So if you live in like Beverly Hills, the schools are going to have fucking those really fancy, smart tablet board, whiteboard things. And like, you know, everyone has tablets and everyone has their own fucking MacBook Pro. They have like a whole editing class and shit like that. But if you live in, Skid Row or some shit, like your school is
Phoenix Elementary School District number 1 or Phoenix Elementary School District number 66. And the only reason why I can quote those is because I lived in both of those as a kid.
Yeah. And
we do have a Beverly Hills here in North Phoenix. So he's not saying Beverly Hills, California. He's saying Beverly Hills, North Phoenix. And Beverly Hills, North Phoenix is adjacent to Deer Valley High School. And Deer Valley High School has a lot of technology.
Honestly, Beverly Hills, Arizona is kind of like shitty.
No, I'm talking about the neighborhood.
Yeah, I know the neighborhood. It's kind of it's old. You know,
it's very old, but it's old moneyed. It's
like nice, but like it's definitely.
I want to live
like,
there, man.
You go to Beverly. I would live there too, but like you go to Beverly Hills and you expect like mansions and shit, and no, it's like these old like wooden ass houses. They're still nice, but
they're still nice and they're still huge. You know, I think the smallest house is like 2,600 square feet or whatever in Beverly Hills. When I was home,
but it's not Beverly Hills.
It's not Beverly Hills, California, where Beverly Hills, California is named Beverly Hills, California because of the sprawling hills that it has. There are no hills in Beverly Hills, Arizona.
That is funny. That is funny. It's like the flattest part of Arizona.
It's flat.
Too, yeah.
The only hills you find are the little mounds that people have built in their front yard landscaping. Yeah, that's about it. And no matter how old that neighborhood is, them the most uppity motherfuckers you will meet in this city next to Scottsdale. You go into Beverly, and Beverly Hills is only probably about 10 square miles at best, and you go in there and these motherfuckers will look down on their nose at you in a heartbeat. I should know. I live close. I'm Beverly Hills adjacent. Adjacent. You know what I'm saying? But I looked at a house in Beverly Hills before I bought my home, and I would have went for that house except it had an infestation of termites. We walked into the garage and there were literally 6-inch round pillars of termite pillars going from the cement up to the top of the garage. And every other part of that house I was in love with until we got into the garage, and I says, nope, I'm the fuck out of here. I'm out. This house is too damn big for me to be trying to combat this damn termite. No wonder why that motherfucking house was in my price range. It was fucking termite infested.
Dude, speaking of like housing in Arizona, dude, the housing market in Arizona is fucking ridiculous right now.
I don't understand this. Is it because so many people are migrating from California?
I don't think it's just California either. I think people are moving here from Vegas. Like, I think everyone is just moving to Arizona. And
why? They're gonna be mad in a couple of months.
Yeah, I'm at that age too, where like a lot of my friends are in the market. They're freshly married, looking for houses and shit, and like late 20s, early 30s or whatever. And yeah, it's fucking impossible if you're trying to find a house here, dude. It's like,
and to kick it back to that $15 an hour federal minimum wage, that ain't gonna get you a house. That's not gonna get you a fucking mailbox outside of a house in this. And you know what? And it's weird as fuck because I bought my home, not to put all of my personal financial businesses out there, but what my house is estimated at value is ridiculous right now.
Dude, I was gonna say you should fucking sell your house right now.
No,
bro.
I can't, because everything that I've gained in equity is going to go right out of the window if I buy another house. Because another house, if I was to upgrade, is going to be even more expensive. So in the long run, I'm going to be doubly fucked. Yeah, I'm going to have a big fat check at selling this place that I'm in now, but moving to another place, I might as well just go ahead and tear that check up.
Well, I'm I'm going to make a prediction and predict that when COVID ends, maybe next year sometime, the house market in Arizona is going to crash like substantially.
It'll level out. It'll level back out because there is no way
I think
that my house is worth what it is.
Here's what I'm suggesting to you, Corey. Here's what I'm suggesting. I suggest you sell your house and you come sleep in my bed for a year.
I am down. I am down with that. Austin, you're out. I am down with that. Or even better yet, Jake, because you've got too many people and too many animals running around your house that bark, squeak, and piss. I suggest I suggest that I sell my house, and then you and I both still live in my house until the sheriff comes and evicts us. Now, the sheriff won't shoot you.
Yeah.
There was a very dark underlying joke in there.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, don't know how to react to it, but yeah.
The one thing is, Jake, what I love about your idea is that you and I live together. That's all I've ever wanted.
I would suggest, you could sell your house and like get an apartment, but if you're gonna get an apartment, you're gonna be spending like $2,000 a month just for.
You know what the smart move would be, Jake?
It's crazy, man.
You know what the smart move would be? Sell the house and buy a fucking luxury RV.
There it is. That's the move, dude.
Buy the RV.
Park it in Walmart or whatever.
Park it in Walmart. I've looked at RV parks because I've rented RVs before. You can rent an RV, and if you park an RV park, it's like what, $15-$20 a day for the electricity, and it costs you what, $7 to go up to one of those machines and suck out your shit. I'm telling you, it'd be cheaper to live in an RV. And an RV, it's not going to appreciate in value, but it's going to be, I mean, they can get pretty expensive. But if you go and you grab one for, 60, 70, 80K, you can comfortably live in that shit. They got all the fucking luxuries that this house has. Internets, satellite television. I could do this show from where I am. All I got to do is just drive up to a Walmart, connect to their Wi-Fi.
Yeah, connect to a Starbucks or whatever.
Starbucks Wi-Fi, and they'll be like, "What's all those fucking blue lights and shit?" And that big fat black guy yelling and shit. Oh, that's just Cory. He's doing his 14th podcast. Don't worry about that. I'm telling you, that's the way. Would you live with me in an RV, Jake? We would be very
close. Man, and we could go on tour and shit. That'd be fun as fuck,
dude. The Jake podcast show on the road. Where are we coming to you live from now? We're in bumfuck Wyoming, where the living wage is only $7.
Miami, Arizona.
Baghdad, Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that would be fucking amazing.
I want to bring this up, and I'm going to be completely forthcoming for the reason why I'm bringing it up.
Wait, is that it for the stimulus package? You got all the bullet points out for the stimulus package?
Yeah, there's a couple like obvious ones, like vaccines and testing and stuff like that. Yeah, money for small businesses and stuff. Okay. And rural hospital assistance, but like that kind of goes without saying, I think.
All right.
Oddly enough, they don't have any mention of like student debt or anything like that, student debt forgiveness or anything.
That explains why Bernie was so many colors.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd think that they'd include at least like, you don't have to pay for the next year or whatever.
Well, wouldn't the student debt bill kind of also classify as needing to be a separate thing outside of the COVID relief package?
Well, I think that this does have to do with COVID relief, though.
Okay.
Where like, because I think there is an argument to be made that we should forgive student loans, but like, also there's an argument to be made that people can't pay their student loans right now because they don't have fucking jobs. That's a little different than the $15 an hour minimum wage, I think. But,
and the argument could be that there are some kids that went to school, fucked off, and have a lot of debt.
Hey, I feel personally attacked.
You shouldn't be feeling personally attacked because that was from my own personal playbook.
Dude, I mean, here's the thing, though. Like, you're 18 years old. These people, you couldn't get a loan for anything when you're 18 except for school, and they'll give you like a 40, and there's a reason they don't give you 40 grand loans when you're 18. It's because you're stupid and you don't have any credit, you don't have any experience. I think I think student loans are predatory as fuck because they just suck on the young children.
Well,
that don't have any credit, don't have any experience, like it's totally manipulative.
And this may be pulling the turning the page in the book of Cory, but if some students listen to their parents, they will probably be able to navigate around that a little bit better. But one thing you're right is that when you're 18, you're dumb as fuck. But one thing that you missed in factoring is that you also think that you know everything. And when you have little motherfucking nose minor kids that think that they know everything and they can't get loans, and so these predatory companies come on them and these kids don't listen to their parents, then they fall into shit. And that you can't take personal, Jake, because I'm not your parent. I'm your lover.
Even if they don't forgive student loans in the future, but like they made like free community college or whatever, free state colleges or whatever, I wouldn't be upset about that. Like I know a lot of people who'd be like, well, I had to pay. How come they don't? And it's like, don't you want the next generation to like have it better than you,
And if they did have free college, you can't. There's probably going to be a separation between the quality of education that you'll get at a free college versus a quality of education that you'll get at a paid college.
There's so many other countries that have free college, and it's totally.
Is college free in China? Because them motherfuckers are smart over there.
I have no idea.
That'd be interesting. Austin, research that, Austin, and get back to me. Hit me up and send some nudes. What? Now, what were you going to say? I apologize. What was your final point?
No, it's all good.
Towards the end of the show.
I wanted to bring this up just because I wanted to have a spicy thumbnail. Did you see the new Lola Bunny from the new Space Jam movie?
No.
Can you do me a favor and just look up the new Lola Bunny?
Oh, yeah. Thanks for asking, Jake. No, I'm not going to look that up.
Oh, okay. Well, they changed Lola Bunny. I'm sure you remember Space Jam, right? You remember Space Jam? And, the big thing with Lola Bunny was she was an absolute babe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she was a knockout, a play to the Bunny and Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, sort of.
Okay, I'm looking at Lola Bunny here.
And basically, they took away her boobas, and I'm outraged. Oh, my gosh,
she is flat-chested.
Yeah, they took away her boobas, and I'm outraged. When people take away my animated boobas, I kind of understand where conservatives are coming from. You know what I mean? That's all I have on that topic.
Until you said that, Jake, because the first picture that popped up for Lola Bunny was a side-by-side of her in the original Space Jam and then the Space Jam 2. And then, of course, I'm inundated by fucking LeBron pictures. But I never noticed that her her bunny boobs were gone. I didn't notice that her bunny boobs were. So is Lola Bunny a WNBA player now? Is that what they're trying to say?
I don't know, man.
Because there are a lot of flat-chested WNBA players out there. You know what I'm saying? But I never noticed that.
Comment.
You're right. Now you have no comment. They took her boobies away. And I didn't notice it until you said something about it. Maybe because I'm not a boob guy. Maybe because I have my own boobs. Maybe that's why I didn't notice her boobs.
Cancel culture, it's gone too far. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're starting to. And you know what? Not too far enough, because I've been watching a lot of Twitch streamers playing GTA, and them female body models in GTA 5, good Lord have mercy. When it makes
that game also came out in 2013 though. Like, that game's old as fuck.
When it makes a character in the game that are RPing step out of their RP persona to look at a fucking animated ass, that's telling you that shit's gone just too far. I mean, when they go from, okay, I don't know what the mode is officially called, but when they go from the camera mode of where you can see their full character to where they go to POV mode where you're looking through the eyes of the character just to ogle one of these animated asses on these women in GTA 5. I'm telling you, man, I don't think cancer culture is that effective.
So the funny thing that I've seen was from 2000 to 2005 they released Grand Theft Auto 3. They released Grand Theft Auto Vice City. They released Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. And they released... What else did they release? Grand Theft Auto 4, I think? And then since 2013 to now, they've re-released Grand Theft Auto 5 4 times.
So this isn't a new game? This is something that's been out for a long time?
Grand Theft Auto 5 has been out since 2013, but everyone plays it. And the big thing about Grand Theft Auto 5 is it's made more money than any piece of media ever. Any piece of media ever.
It says it right here on its wiki page. Grand Theft Auto 5 is a 2013 action-adventure game developed by Rockstar North.
Yep.
So it's 2013. And you know what's so funny? We don't have time to get into it, but one of the first headlines and top stories, GTA RP community calls for on NoPixel to ban XQC again over glitch exploit. I've been watching XQC Twitch stream for his GTA play, and it's a fucking nightmare. He is everything that the game is designed to do, he's doing the opposite of. And they've already banned him once. They already banned him once for utilizing they call them the locals, the computer generated action against the role play action, where he calls the freaking pile up on a bridge to stop races from happening. And now with his GTA character, known as X, is I believe has the most amount of debt ever accomplished in the game. He's over $100,000 in debt because he gets fucking arrested every time he plays. He did a 24-hour stream the other day, and he literally was arrested 24 times. That's an arrest every hour. You watch his role play, he literally, if he's driving in a stolen car and he sees a police officer on the side of the road or at a stoplight, he doesn't avoid them. He goes to them, antagonizes them, and then leads them on a police chase, gets arrested, and racks up more fines. Then when he does make a little bit of money, he makes it in cash, goes to the casino that is clearly rigged, and loses all of it, and then he's mad, so then he goes out into the city, and he rages and kills just, people that are just walking on the street, not players, but kills the locals and drives over them, goes and commits a crime right in front of a cop, and then goes into the cop and bluntly to the cop says, "This is your fault." Dude, XQC is fucking broken, man. Something is wrong with this dude. Big time. It's so atrocious, but yet 76,000 to 105,000 people are sitting there with their jaws in their laps watching this motherfucker do this. And now NoPixel has already banned him once, which is a server that he's playing on. I wouldn't be surprised if they ban him again, but nothing's ever going to happen to this cat because he is a fucking huge draw for this game. And people have now gone from watching his smart gameplay to now watching the train wreck that has become his gameplay. It's atrocious to the point where other streamers are even avoiding his character in the game. They are completely avoiding his character in this game because it is so atrocious. He's broken one fourth wall down that GTA players will never embrace. He's a snitch. He's a snitch in GTA, and
how are you a snitch in GTA?
He is literally other streamers will encounter XQC's character in the game. They will both break a law, which is what GTA is all about. And then when they separate and go their separate ways, XQC's character goes right to the police and tries to sell out the person he committed the crimes with for profit. And he found one crooked cop in the game that is willing to pay XQC to sell out everybody else that breaks the law in the game. There and GTA is about community, and you build these gangs amongst other players and stuff like that. He has sold out and snitched on almost every organized crime ring in the game to the cops in the game. And then on top of that, he does shit and still gets himself arrested. He's been in jail so now what he's doing is he's running around with a camera on his shoulder, and his character, a camera on his shoulder, and he's claiming he works for the news. And he's going around and he's recording these crimes happening. He's running back to the cops, and he's trying to sell the cops the footage of the crime happening. And then when the cops don't buy it, because he can't find that one crooked cop, when the cop doesn't buy it, he gets pissed off and then does something to the cop. He'll steal the cop's car and drive it into the ocean, which he has named the Kraken. This is not the way GTA was designed to be played, and I'm not even a GTA player. But it is such a fucking abortion of how he's playing this game. It's sad. It's horrible. I would not be surprised if NoPixel does decide to ban him. But if NoPixel was right and they were greedy, they allow this motherfucker to stay on their platform, because he is bringing NoPixel to the forefront like no tomorrow. He is their golden goose by doing his best to break their fucking server. And that's literally what he's attempting to do, is break their server.
So upon further research, GTA 5 has sold almost 200 million copies, and as a franchise has made at least $6 billion.
Not surprised.
And just for reference, Avatar, the best-selling movie of all time, or it used to be until Endgame. So Endgame made $3 billion. That's an unbelievable amount of money, and they're about to release the PS5 upgrade, which is going to make them even more money. It's honestly unbelievable. It's an unbelievable amount.
Dude, I won't lie. I even was checking my computer specs to see if I could handle GTA 5. Now, I know I'd never have a chance on getting on NoPixel server, but still, maybe I could get on Soldier Boy server. I don't know.
You could probably find a PS4 for pretty cheap these days.
Probably so, but I'm not that smart. But I'm sitting back, I'm watching it, and there are some streamers that and I know we're at the end of the show, but Greek God X has this character in GTA called Tay, and Greek God X on his stream is a young, like 28-year-old English guy. He's from England. He has
English? I always wondered where he was from.
Yeah, he's from England, and I think he's even mentioned it at one point. But in his character, GTA 5 is a 65-year-old black man. And I don't know how he did it. I don't know if it's a mod or something, but he has this hairpiece on his head that is never connected to his head. It just floats like a couple of inches away from his head in his character when he's on there. And he does his best to do an American accent. But when Greek does American accent, it only comes out as a Texas accent. It only comes out as a Southern accent, and it's so fucking hilarious. His character passes out when hot women walk by him. His character is always trying to glom on to something else that's going on. Like there was a big casino opening that was happening, and he was just hopping in people's cars saying, yeah, I'm the security or I'm the janitor. And he would just be in the scene wiping off a window or blowing leaves off of a sidewalk. And it was just hilarious. It's RP that is not what the game is designed to do, but it's so fucking engaging and hilarious because he will just have a conversation with anybody and everybody that's in that game, and he just makes friends, and he's so freaking lovable the cops won't even arrest him because they're like, oh, this is just homeless Tay off the block. But then you look at it, and Tay's got over $60,000 in the bank because people feel so bad for him. They just give him money. They give him thousands and thousands of dollars. But Tay-Tay also has a heart in the game where if he sees someone that's hungry, he'll give them a sandwich. He'll take them to the store. He'll buy them food. He'll give them weed. He'll give them lockpicks. I mean,
the level of RP I've never seen anything like.
This is my first exposure to RP, and it's fucking crazy. It's insane. So you got XQC's character X, who is way off of the spectrum on trying to break RP, and then you've got Greek God X, who has created this character that is just, it's impossible to not love him. It's impossible to not love this Greek God X character, you know. And then you've got this RP world is new to me. I may be geeking out over something that's old, but it's new to me, and I find it fascinating.
I've put in at least 500 hours into GTA 5. It's a game that you just sort of... Well, first of all, there's a story mode. And the story mode alone is at least 65 hours just to play that. And then the online, there's just so much to do. You can buy your own apartment. You know, there's so many different races. There's different heists you can do with your friends. And then also, it's just fun to just run around killing things, stealing cars.
I've been so infected by this GTA RP. I literally have installed the Twitch app on my Apple TV so I can watch Twitch streams on my big television. That's how much I'm in.
I've got it on my PS4. Yeah.
That's how much I'm in. And I go to Tay-Tay, I go to Dundee, who is an Australian character that has this distinct gait. And the Twitch streamer's name is Whipley, but he plays a character named Dundee. And then you've got and then there's another character that I follow by the name of Mr. B, who is just this big shyster, but yet he's a lovable shyster. Everybody his friend. He networks like there's no tomorrow. He's got connections throughout the entire city, from the nurses to the biggest of the biggest gangsters, and he's lovable, but then yet he's also running his own gang. He's also running his own coups on the side, you know what I mean? And he's playing people against people. So his streams are always really, really intense. Like, oh my God, is somebody going to figure out that he's playing this gang against this gang and he's the middle person, but yet he always manages to somehow escape without any scar. I mean, I'm following so many. And then there's one guy that his whole Twitch stream, his whole RP and GTA is bike tricks, where he can take a bicycle and go up the side of a building. That's all that he does. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is insane. But the storylines are so amazing. And to see these characters develop, and then all of the gay people in GTA work down at the Burger Shot. All of the gay streamers are at the Burger Shot. And they're in drag. It's hilarious.
It reminds me of back in the day when everyone used to do Minecraft RPs. Like, RP in Minecraft used to be so good, and like people would have their own businesses. There was one where it was a guy, him and his friend, they built like this giant factory that collected dirt, and they sold dirt to people, and they were a dirt manufacturing company.
It's insane. And that's what they're
a Jaffa cake factory. And
yeah, like someone opened up a company called Rooster's Roast, and when you go to Rooster's Roast, you can buy tea. And when you buy that tea, it gives you some type of special power that if you go and rob a house, instead of getting 2K for a TV, you end up getting 4K. So the tea allows you to get more money when you go and you buy this $1,000 tea. Kind of like when you find the prismatic shard in Stardew Valley. You know what I mean? It gives you some additional. It all ties back to Stardew Valley. It was my gateway into this world. I sit here and watch hours and hours of GTA. And Jake, when they're not streaming GTA, I go back and watch the last stream to catch up for what I wasn't able to see.
Yeah.
That's how deep I am in this fucking GTA world. And now you just told me that I'm watching something that's a 15-year-old game.
Well, it's still popular though.
It's very popular.
Always in the top.
And all of the big
MPD numbers,
are
it's always in
playing
the top 10. It's always in the top 10.
And there and lots of the big streamers are playing it. And when some of the big streamers jump out, like Soda Poppin' just quit, he stopped playing. And Soda Poppin' his RP was the manager of the Burger Shot. Soda Poppin' is a very popular Twitch streamer. When he quit, the Burger Shot was no longer the popular place. Now the popular place to go is Rooster's Roast and the casino.
Yeah, well, the casino is new to the game, so
it's very interesting how organically, like, the populations really mimic almost real life, where when a spot stops being popular and hopping, everybody moves on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a good ass game.
I'm all in.
It's a very dated game now. The only good thing about it now, I think, is the car. Everything else feels pretty rough in that game.
And the casino is so fucking manipulated. It is just so ridiculously manipulated.
But if you want to hear more about us talking about Grand Theft Auto,
here we go.
Check out the Loner Gamecast every Monday live on twitch.tv/Lonercast. It's posted to the YouTube channel every Tuesday.
How dare you take my Twitch rant and turn it into a promo?
Lots of GTA 6 rumors right now, so make sure you come check out that show. Also, WandaVision just wrapped up, the most watched television show of all time. I finished it, and me and my friend Austin are going to be doing a season spoiler cast that will be posted. Wait, you have a
friend named Austin too?
Yeah, different Austin, actually.
Oh, there's more than I have the triple OG though.
Yeah, you've got the S tier Austin. Yeah, so make sure you check that out. That's probably already posted on the channel if you're listening to this. And make sure you check out everything else that's coming to the YouTube channel. Thanks, guys. I love you. I appreciate you. And stay classy, San Diego.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Rottenberg. Ugh.